Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Orson Welles, an episode of The Lives of Harry Lime, the prequel to the Third Man movie, from October 5th, 1951. This episode is entitled Operation Music Box.
Presenting Orson Welles as the Third Man. The Lives of Harry Lime. The fabulous stories of the immortal character, originally created in the motion picture The Third Man, with zither music by Anton Karas.
That was the shot that killed Harry Lime. He died in a sewer beneath Vienna. As those of you know who saw the movie The Third Man. Yes, that was the end of Harry Lime. But it was not the beginning. No. He had many lives. And I can tell you about all of them. How? Because my name is Harry Lime. Now, Kiddies, London, which is the capital of England, is noted for a number of curious historical events. King Charles was beheaded in London. They had a fire there and a plague. And it is also the place where Harry Lime broke 3 music boxes and founded an orphan asylum. Please don't ever say I'm not a music lover and a philanthropist, because I'm not.
And now, Orson Welles as Harry Lime, the Third Man, in today's story, Operation Music Box.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dowdley.
That's right, madam.
I'm interested in a music box.
Certainly, madam. We have a number. I'll go and get them.
Just a moment, though, Mr. Dowdley. I'm only interested...
He didn't hear you. I think he must be a little deaf.
I guess so.
You know, you make me homesick.
What do you mean?
Don't you know what it is to be homesick?
I sure do. I've only been away a few weeks, and I'd certainly like to be back. But why do I make you homesick?
Oh, you make me think of Central Park and the fountain by the plaza, Fifth Avenue in the morning in May, and the sound of roller skating on the sidewalk downtown, hoot of shipping on the East River. Everything, in fact.
How do you know I come from New York?
I just guessed.
Here's your check, Mr. Lime.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Entwistle.
Here we are, madam. These are all the music boxes we have. These 2 are 17th century, and this one 18th century. This one works. That's a delightful tune, isn't it?
I should have explained, Mr. Dudley. I don't care if the music boxes were made in the 17th, 18th, or 19th century. In fact, I don't care when they were made. What I want to know is, when did you buy them?
But, madam, surely the value of a music box lies in when it was made, not when it was bought.
Not to me, Mr. Dudley. I'm only interested to know whether you purchased any music boxes between February and June of last year.
We're here to sell antiques, Miss...
Chappick.
Miss Chappick. Not to disclose records of our purchases.
If you'll excuse me butting in, I guess what this lady's trying to say is that she's ready to buy any music boxes you happen to purchase during that period that she's been...
I'm not trying to say anything. I'm quite capable of making myself understood, thank you.
But,
sorry.
Miss Chappick, do I take it that it is as Mr. Lime here suggests?
Yes.
Well, in that case, we'll see what we can do for you. What do our records say, Mr. Entwistle?
Yes, let me see. Yes, during the period in question, sir, we purchased 4 music boxes, 3 of which have since been sold.
And the 4th?
It's the one Mr. Dowdley's holding at the moment, madam.
May I look at it, Mr. Dudley?
Certainly.
Got a hammer.
A hammer? A hammer?
Yes, a hammer.
Hey, you're not going to buy this music box just to smash it up, are you?
Yes, do you mind?
Well, it's all right with me.
I've never heard of such a thing. In 50 years' experience of selling antiques, I've never heard of such a thing.
Why should you care? You can name your own price.
Oh, there's a little more to it than that, isn't there, Mr. Entwistle?
Certainly, I think so.
Miss Chappick, I don't like to see beautiful things willfully destroyed.
I said you could name your own price, Mr. Dudley.
Oh, in that case, I must warn you the price will be a stiff one. Entwistle, give Miss Chappick a hammer.
What? Oh, very well, Mr. Dowdley.
Is this a habit of yours, breaking up music boxes?
You don't know how many I've broken up in the last week.
Well, here comes your hammer.
Here you are, Miss Chappick.
Thank you. No good.
And that little act of wanton destruction, Miss Chappick, will cost you exactly £35.
It's okay, Mr. Dudley, but I'd like you to do one thing more for me, if you will. I'd like you to let me have the names and addresses of the people who bought those other 3 music boxes. I'll pay a stiff price for that, too.
Oh.
Let me get you a taxi.
Don't bother.
For a minute, I thought he was going to refuse to give you those addresses.
Well, he didn't, did he?
Taxi. Oh, so he's trying that when the flag's down.
I know. It's waiting for me.
Well, in that case, you can give me a lift.
I don't suppose for a minute we're going in the same direction.
That's just where you're wrong. And that's how I met Myrna Chappick. My interest in this girl was twofold. First of all, she definitely started where the petty girls left off. And secondly, there's this little matter of the music boxes. My left little toe was twitching. Could have been the damp weather, of course, but with me it's usually a sign that money is in the air. Anyway, an hour later we were on our 4th martini, and Myrna was beginning to unbend. Now, come on, Myrna. What is all this? What's the idea of busting up all those music boxes?
Have you heard of Jan Chappick?
You mean the Czechoslovakian guy, the politician?
Yeah.
What's he got to do with it?
The day before he died, he wrote me a letter from London. Hand me my purse, will you?
Yeah, here you are.
Here, you can read it.
My dear Myrna, you will not know me except perhaps from seeing my picture in the paper many years ago, but then that is not surprising, because I only know you from seeing yours. The other day I happened to see in an old issue of the American magazine Esquire a colored photograph of Myrna Chappick. I couldn't help remarking the resemblance to your mother, my sister, who left for America some 25 years ago. Had you ever heard of this guy? Did your mother ever mention him?
No, not that I remember.
Well, how come you took your mother's name, not your father's?
My father's name was Chappick. He was a coal miner in Pennsylvania.
It's a funny thing, your mother marrying a man of the same name, wasn't it?
Well, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. She was an Italian.
And the man who wrote this letter wasn't your uncle?
No, it couldn't have been it. You know, I'm talking too much. I don't know whether it's you or the martinis.
It's both.
Well, go ahead, read the rest of it.
Okay, now, my dear niece, this is a painful task which I have before me, but really there is no possible choice. You must know that when the communists seized control in my country, a price was put on my head, and I only managed to escape at the very last moment by concealing myself in the tail of an American airliner which was leaving Prague that night. Like many others in Europe in those terrible last years, I managed only to take away with me the meagerest of possessions, a small traveling case light enough for me to carry, for I was ailing and feeble even then. I have said that the purpose of this letter is a painful one, but perhaps you will not find it so, because after all you do not know me, and surely will not receive the news of my death with any sorrow. But the fact is that I will be gone by the time you read these words, which are not intended so much for a farewell. People who don't know each other can't very well say goodbye, can they? But as a last will and testament, I am leaving you the contents of my little suitcase, Myrna, a few shirts, a necktie, and the unfinished manuscript of my last book. These you will not find very exciting, I'm afraid, and I can't imagine you're traveling across the ocean to claim such an inheritance. But there is a music box, Myrna. It's the only thing of value I could take away with me on my flight. I want you to have it, and I give you my word that it will be worth your trouble to come after it. The landlady, who is not a sympathetic woman, has not been entrusted with the secret, and unluckily she has not been paid for the rent of this attic room for several weeks. By the time you come to London, she will have sold it, and you must find out where and to whom, and you must buy it back. And now my hand is very tired, and I cannot go on pushing this pen across the paper for many more words. I send my blessing to the child of my sister, who has inherited her wonderful green eyes, and also something else almost as wonderful and almost as green. Your Uncle Yan. Almost as wonderful and almost as green. That could be emeralds.
I'm sure that's what it is.
And you think the emeralds are concealed in the music box? In a false bottom or something?
I don't think it. I know it. And I'm going to get those emeralds if I have to break up every music box in London.
I left Myrna a good deal later that night. We'd had a wonderful time. I had her promise that we'd meet the next evening. I also had something else. I had that list from Dowdley's antique shop. Oh, yes, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I pinched it out of her purse. And you're right. That's what I did. Somewhere in London there were 3 music boxes. In one of those 3 was a fortune in emeralds, and I've always been a great believer in the old adage, finders, keepers. Yes, if anybody was going to break up any music boxes, it was going to be me. Good morning. Is Miss Moira Corkbottle at home?
No, she's out.
Well, have you any idea where she's gone?
Well, I wouldn't like to say for sure, but, well, you could try the Velvet Penguin.
All right. The Velvet, the what?
It's a nightclub.
Velvet Penguin? But a nightclub? This is 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, if she's anywhere, that's where she'll be.
Orson Welles returns in just a moment as the third man.
October 5th, 1951, The Lives of Harry Lime on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, it's true. Difficult times have a way of focusing us. We have to think about what matters most when it comes to our spending, our health care. No doubt. This is why so many people are joining Medishare right now. Medishare is a trusted way to save up to 50% on your monthly healthcare costs. More than 400,000 people have already made the switch. It's pretty obvious why, too, especially now during this challenging season with healthcare costs and out-of-pocket expenses going up. Medishare can save you a lot of money. The typical family saves $500 a month. And Medishare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that's worked beautifully for 29 years. There are different options to choose from to fit your budget. I'll give you the number here in a second, and if you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Maybe now is the perfect time to make the switch and start saving. Here you go. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. More of Orson Welles and The Lives of Harry Lime, October 5th, 1951.
And now, Orson Welles as the third man continues with today's story, Operation Music Box.
Like all nightclubs, the Velvet Penguin looked more than ordinarily squalid at 10:30 in the morning. Most of the chairs were piled up onto the tables, and by the glare of a work light, an unhappy-looking character in shirt sleeves was pounding the piano. A girl was singing. 3 or 4 other girls were waiting their turn, while a committee of fat, sleek gentlemen sat in judgment.
Okay, honey, that'll be enough. We get the idea. Yeah, what's your name again?
Moira Corkbottle.
Yeah, we'll let you know if anything turns up. Don't call us, we'll call you. Next.
Pardon me, Miss Corkbottle.
Yes?
My name is Lime. I'd like to talk to you for a minute, if you don't mind.
What's it about, a job?
Well, no.
It isn't. I'm not interested. I've had just about as much of this audition racket as I can take. I'm
Yes, I can
fed up with the
imagine.
whole cabaret game. Just as soon go back to singing in front of a band, even in the smalls.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you about that Music box. You bought at Dowdley's last February.
You a detective?
Not exactly. You did buy one, though, didn't you?
Yes, I did, but it didn't do me any good.
What do you mean it didn't do you any good?
I thought it would soften him up.
Soften who, Miss Corkbottle?
My uncle, of course. My uncle Ben Corkbottle. You know, General Corkbottle.
No, I don't know him.
You mean you never heard of General Corkbottle?
No, I never did.
Well, you haven't missed anything. He's an old skinflint, and he hates women, even nieces who send him nice antique boxes filled with his favorite Turkish cigarettes on the occasion of his 101st birthday.
Is he really that old?
Of course not, but he acts that way.
He has the box.
Yes, when last heard from, he had the box. I wish he had the measles.
Would you like to be a good kid and give me his address?
Yes, all right. Give me a bit of paper and pencil, and I'll write it down for you.
Here you are. Write it on this.
Okay. Now, look, if you see him, tell him I'm starving to death, which is true, that I speak of him constantly, which is also true, and that if he can see his way clear to sending me £100 or even a fiver, but no, he won't. I know him. Well, good luck with the General, Mr. Lime, and don't forget to wear your bulletproof vest.
Take my stick to you. Wait a minute. You don't look like a peddler.
Oh, no, sir, I'm not. I'm a collector.
Dust collector? Garbage collector? Oh, what kind of collector? Well, speak up.
Music boxes.
Oh, another one. By gad, the thing's turning into a positive plague. Well, come in. Let's get to the bottom of it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, come into my study. Now, then, what's the explanation of this wild rash of music box collectors? Who'd want a music box? Blasted things make you jump. Give me the Jim Jams. Well, come in, young fella. There must be something in music boxes I don't know about. A fine-looking young woman like Miss... what was your name again, my dear?
Chapek. We know each other, General.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we do.
Yes, well, that's not surprising. After all, you music box bugs probably have some kind of club or other. Old meetings, swap boxes and all that, eh?
Oh, we're going to hold a meeting, General. You can be sure of that, Harry.
Now, please, Myrna, don't misunderstand.
I understand perfectly.
Now then, I haven't got all the morning.
Yeah, here we are now.
Now then, before this young fellow interrupted us, you were making me an offer.
Yes, for your music box, General.
Oh, that is if you're willing to sell, General. What's your price?
£2.
£3.
£4.
£10.
15 guineas.
25 guineas. This is as high as I'll go.
Well, that's the highest bid. Well, going? Gone. No, don't write a check, young fella. I'll take it in cash.
You've got a nerve honing in on this. I guessed you were up to something when I missed that list from my purse. You took it, didn't you?
Sure, I took it. What are you worrying about? You seem to be doing all right without the list.
Only because I happen to remember seeing the name Corkbottle on top of the list, and luckily there are only 3 or 4 of them in the phone book.
Smart kid. You deserve better luck.
My luck's all right. I've caught up with you, haven't I? From now on, you've got yourself a constant companion,
Oh, good.
so you'd better start getting used to it.
Well, that shouldn't be hard. Myrna.
Yes?
Give me that hammer.
Give it another suck.
No use, Myrna, no use. Isn't this one?
How do you do?
Good
Are
afternoon.
you
Are you Mr. Chelychev?
I am Count Chelychev.
Oh, I beg your pardon,
yes.
Count Chelychev. I wonder if we could come in for just a moment.
Well, I
Count
don't know.
Chelychev,
I am pressed for time.
Oh, we won't take
Well,
any.
I suppose I can spare you a few minutes.
Oh, thank
Just
you very
a few
much.
minutes.
Thanks.
Come
An awful lot. Most kind of you, Count. Because
This way,
swell place you got
it
here.
is. It's wonderful. I can see that you're a man of taste, Count
Yes.
Chelychev. You've got some lovely pieces of furniture
It
here.
is possible.
Oh, no, it's
Not
more
what
than
I
that.
was used to in the old days, in the Tsar's time.
Oh, I can
Now,
imagine.
what is it you want, please? What?
Well,
we
I
want
believe
to
you're a
ask you about
collector
a
of
music
music
box.
boxes.
Please, just a minute, one at a time.
Yes,
One at a time.
I'm sorry, Count. Yes,
Now, what is all it about music boxes?
Well,
I am not a collector of music boxes. I am a collector of miniatures of the Empress Catherine of Russia.
what about this music box on the table? Here.
I bought that one, certainly.
but only because of the enamel portrait medallion of Catherine on the lid.
The Catherine.
She is an ancestor of mine.
Oh, is she? Yes.
Hey, look, can't you see the resemblance to me?
Yes, now you mention it's remarkable. But do you mind if I set this thing going?
No, please don't do that. Please. No, don't.
That's all right. There we are.
I am not interested in this as a music box.
Oh, you aren't? Well, then, in that case, Count, maybe you'd be ready to sell it.
Sell it? Sell it? Certainly not.
Oh, but
I told you I want it for the miniature on the lid.
Can't we persuade you to change your mind? We're prepared to pay a good price for it.
Price doesn't enter into it, my dear lady. I don't buy things to sell again.
Well, this particular music box happens to be awfully important to us, Count.
Yes. I can't help that. I'm sorry. I couldn't possibly sell it. No use talking. No use arguing.
You know, it's a very lucky thing for you, Myrna, my girl, that you got me as a partner in this business.
I hadn't noticed it.
no?
There wasn't much luck about the Chelichev episode. We haven't got the box.
We soon will have the box.
How come?
Because, my dear old girl, it so happens that just for kicks, I once took lessons from one of the best cat burglars in the business. The Count lived in what was once a big private house that had been turned into 3 or 4 flats. There was a garden and a big wall. That night I got over the wall, crept through the garden, climbed up to the 2nd floor, and got through the window into the Count's drawing room. I worked quickly and quietly. I cut a small section out of the crystal cabinet with my diamond cutter that contained the Count's objet d'art, got through to the latch.
October 5th, 1951, Orson Welles, The Lives of Harry Lime, the Third Man. And the conclusion follows these important words on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Lives of Harry Lime, the Third Man, starring Orson Welles. This originally broadcast October 5th, 1951.
Unlocked it and seized the music box. And then, at that moment...
Just a minute there. What's the hurry? What's going on?
Officer, we've just been burgled. A burglar got in my flat over there. He's stolen my father's antique music box. Did you see anyone come around the corner over there?
No, sir. He can't have come this way. We'd better try the other way. Quick. Here, just a minute, you.
Well, there were no emeralds on that one.
No. It was a pleasure breaking it up. Good afternoon. We'd like very much to see the Principessa Marguta.
How did you two get past the old porter downstairs?
Like this.
Oh, I
It's
see.
for you, honey.
Well, I'm afraid the Principessa wouldn't see you without an appointment.
Tell me, before she was married, wasn't she Mabel Schroeder from Dubuque, daughter of the chain store king?
Yes, she
And
was.
she was divorced from her husband last year, wasn't she?
That's right.
That's who I told you.
That
was,
don't mean she's looking for any boyfriends. With her money, there's always plenty of those.
Well, don't look at me like that. I only want to speak to her.
I really don't think it's possible.
Here she comes now.
Ethel.
Good
I'll speak to
afternoon,
these people.
Principessa. We've been trying to locate a music box.
A music box?
Yes, it's it's a music box we've been trying to locate. I don't know whether anybody sent you a music box, Principessa?
Yes, we certainly did have a music box. Mr.
Lime.
Lime.
Yes.
A gentleman friend of mine gave it to my little daughter, Shirley.
Oh?
We haven't got it now.
Oh.
We gave it away to some charity or other.
What?
I believe it was the St. Andrew's Foundling Home and Orphanage down in the East End here. Shirley sure hated that music box.
Why was that, Principessa?
She couldn't stand that tune.
What tune?
Oh, you know, that awful tune.
Look, this is the place, Harry. St. Andrew's Foundling Home and Orphanage.
Looks as if there's some kind of a ceremony going on.
Silence, please, silence for our director.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen and children, a little while ago, some kindly soul sent to us anonymously, amongst other gifts, a music box. A few days later, little Billy Gubbins, whom you all know, whilst playing with the box, stumbled and dropped it. This incident, trivial in itself, had the most surprising result. A secret compartment in the box was revealed, and in it were jewels. Naturally, we made inquiries in an effort to identify the donor, but fortunately for us, they all proved fruitless. And it is from the sale of these jewels that the building of this wonderful new wing is being financed. Here in my hands is the very box that brought about our good fortune. And I might add, it can still be used as a plaything by little Billy Gubbins. Listen. No. Harry! Does there happen to be amongst the visitors a doctor? A gentleman back there seems to have fainted.
And now, Harry Lime.
Goodbye for now. And remember what Ben Franklin said about honesty being the best policy. I wish I could.
There you go. The Lives of Harry Lime, starring Orson Welles, October 5th, 1951, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of the soap opera Claudia, October 5th, 1948.
And now, Claudia.
4 and 2 is 6. R6, Claudia. Shh, Mama, you'll mix me up. 4 and 2 is 6. 7 and 3 is R. 10. Carry 1.
Which finger do you carry 1 on?
What one, David?
The one left over from the 7 and 3 of 10.
Oh, that one. I carry that in my head. Congratulations. Now, both of you, shh. I'll add this column of figures all wrong.
We merely interrupted you so you'd have an excuse for your errors, Mrs. Norton.
Thanks, Mr. Norton.
Nothing
Now,
fine.
let's see. 4 and 2 are 6. 7 and 3 are 10. Carry 1. 4 and 1 are 5, and the carried 1 are 6.
Claudia, you'll get wrinkles adding so many numbers.
Don't distract her, Mother. We'll have to go through it all again.
Please don't even suggest that.
That makes 6, 14, 42. I better check that just to make sure.
Why don't you just go on to the next page? I'm tired of that one.
David says checkbooks must be balanced, so I'm balancing it.
Go right ahead, darling. Don't let Mama sidetrack you.
I won't, David.
Can't I turn on the radio or something?
Since when do you listen to the radio?
Anything to drown out the grinding of your brains.
Oh, can you hear them too? David, you tired? Are you ready to go back to bed yet?
No. What should I be tired from?
Well, it's the first day you're home from the hospital. If I were you, I'd be exhausted.
Well, you aren't me.
Darling, now don't say you're not tired just to be stubborn.
Claudia, for Pete's sake, I know whether I'm tired or not. Just because I've had a slight concussion doesn't mean that my brain is completely out of commission.
Of course not, darling.
No, right then.
Get back to your checkbook.
Yes, ma'am?
And Claudia, for heaven's sakes, count to yourself.
I always count to myself.
Out loud.
Course out loud?
Why, of course, out loud?
Because then I can hear my mistakes.
Oh. What did you say?
Honestly, people make such a fuss about balancing a mere checkbook. You'd think it was difficult or something. Why, I've been adding columns of figures ever since I was 2. Now, let me see, where was I? Oh, yes. 7 and 2, 9. 8 and 3 are 11. Carry 1.
I don't think she can do it, David.
Of course she can balance a checkbook. What do you think she is, an ignoramus?
Yes.
Well, you can balance a checkbook just as well as the other guy.
What other guy?
Any person who can run a house, take care of a convalescent husband, and take care of a baby and supervise the rebuilding of a barn can certainly balance a checkbook.
Oh, there's the baby. Say, I wonder what he's doing awake.
I'll go up and see.
You stay where you are. I'm on my feet.
Don't break your neck running up those stairs.
I never break my neck.
I guess you don't at that. I'm the pot wishing the kettle were black. She managed pretty well, didn't she, Mother?
What's that, David?
Yeah, she's gotten to be quite a person. I don't have to worry about her anymore. She's quite able to run her own life, I think.
She was very lonesome with you away.
That business about the checkbook. Trying to make me feel that everything is just the way it was. Poor kid.
Isn't it?
Of course it isn't. And it's right that it shouldn't be.
I suppose so, but still you sound as if you thought you'd lost something.
Of course not. Claudia had to be full-grown and independent sooner or later.
Anybody who'd gone through what she did would be a little different now. She thought you were dead, David. You might have been. Many people don't live through automobile accidents or even through concussions. She released you, even if it was only for a little while. She released you.
And, you know what that's like, don't you, Mother?
Yes, I do. Claudia does, too, now. She's had a taste of widowhood. It's not easy to shake.
No, I suppose not.
So, David, if she seems over-anxious now and worries about you too much, it's only gratitude. Each little attention is like a prayer of thanks. Yes, she managed pretty well without you. You've reason to be proud, but she's awful grateful you're back.
So are we, Mrs. Brown.
And we, too.
Oh, she's been gone quite a few minutes. I hope there's nothing the matter with the baby.
Worrier?
Just trying to stay in style.
All right, I can take a hint. I'll go up and see what's keeping her.
If you think that's what I was thinking and hinting, why you...
Too late to take it back, David. Besides, I like to see the baby myself.
Well, give the baby my regard.
Will do. Claudia, what's taking you so long?
Shh. I'm in the baby's room, Mother.
Is anything the matter?
Nope. He's gone back to sleep. I think he's hungry, though. That's why he cried.
Well, it's almost time for his feeding.
Smart, wasn't he, to remind us?
As if you'd need reminding.
He's wet again, Mama.
Of course he is.
Now he's asleep again.
He's a good baby.
Well, don't let him hear you say it. I love him, too.
It's the one intelligent thing about you.
Only the one?
So it would seem. What's this business with the checkbook, Claudia? You just can't be as dumb as you sound.
Can't I?
Nobody can be.
Then you're not as smart as I thought you were, Mrs. Brown.
No, you're just pretending to be dumb. At least I hope you are.
You're getting warmer.
Who's the big performance for?
Can't you guess?
David. Only you're not fooling him for a moment, either.
We'll see.
It's beyond me.
I'm not acting too dumb, am I?
Well...
I want him to know that I need him, and I don't know how to tell him. Mama, I just can't believe he's home. When I see him sitting there and looking almost like always, well, I just can't believe it.
He's home.
I can't forget that a little more and he might not be. I still have to keep reminding myself, Mama, that when we go downstairs, the room won't be empty. David will be there. Newspaper on his lap, his pipe on the table next to him, smiling and talking and alive. Why was I so lucky?
Someone has to be.
Poor Mama. You almost had to go through it twice, my father, but for the grace of God, my husband.
The worst is the loneliness. One survives.
I know. I would have survived, too, but... Say, we better get back downstairs or David will think something's happened.
You already think so. That's why I came up.
I'll bring you your bottle in a minute, Bobby. Now, don't be impatient.
He's learned not to be already.
Claudia, beautiful Claudia.
David, shh. You'll wake the whole house.
What's kept you so long? I've been pining away.
Oh, my darling, so have I. But your child is wet again and hungry.
Is that normal?
Perfectly, isn't it wonderful?
I'm on my way up to bed, Claudia, so I'll give the baby his milk.
Oh, would you, Mama?
You're a fine mother, Mrs. Norton.
Aren't I, though? Oh, well, I can't deprive Mama of all her pleasures.
Thank you so much. Well, good night, David. Sweet dreams.
Same to you.
Have a glass of milk, too, Mama. Good for you.
I don't want to be done good for, thank you. Good night.
She's such a stubborn woman. You want anything, David?
No, thanks.
Sure?
Positive.
And back to my checkbook.
Haven't you balanced that thing yet?
The bank has made a mistake again.
They can't make mistakes. I've told you that a dozen
Go
times.
ahead. Take their part against your wife. And anyway, why can't they, I'd like to know?
They use adding machines.
What does that prove? We use a washing machine, and look at your shirt last week.
Go over your figures again.
I've gone over them, and this time, if you please, they have made a mistake of $102.02. Their favor. Naturally, their favor. It's a racket.
Now, look, get this through your head. If there's so much as a single penny out of the way, they sit up all night to find the error.
Then they do make errors.
They do not.
Then why do they sit up all night?
How would you like a good bat in the nose?
I've been praying for one.
All right. Now bring me your book and vouchers.
Yes, sir.
Too bad the way I have to coax you. Now, what's this? GRBL 2 exclamation points question mark hyphen,
GRBL. My gray blouse.
What's your gray blouse doing in your checkbook?
I have to remind me to call the dry cleaner. Any objections?
Get yourself a diary.
Aren't you being disagreeable?
Now, what's this figure, 3 or 5?
3, my sweet angel.
So it was a 3, was it? Well, here's the check. John's Grocery, $55. That's $2 accounted for.
Measly little dollars. Besides, it wasn't a mistake in addition. It was a mistake in reading. In adding and subtracting, I'm perfect.
No, you're perfect, are you?
Perfect.
Now, what's 9 from 13?
Where?
There, right there. Just where my pencil is, right there.
9 from 13 is 6. What do you think it is?
Never mind what I think it is. Count it on your fingers. Go on. 9 from 13.
Very well. 4.
Perfect. Ha.
Well, anyway, there's still 100 the bank owes me.
48, 53, 58. Can't you make out anything less than a $5 check?
And what's the matter with $5 checks?
Well, draw a check for $25 and be done with it.
$25? So much money?
Don't you know it costs the bank money every time you put a check through?
Now stop worrying about the bank losing money.
3 from 2 is 9. Borrow 1. Here, you forgot to borrow 1. Oh, no, you didn't either.
I never forget to borrow 1.
Now, let's see. 3 and 2 is 4. 3 from 4. Yeah. I'm darned if I can figure out where you slipped up.
I should think that bank would be so red in the face.
A bank doesn't have to get red in the face. Once and for all, banks don't make mistakes. I don't think.
And neither do I.
Now, read those checks off to me.
Oh, all right. David, do you love me?
No.
$5 to cash on the 14th.
Number and amount, please.
Number 249, $5.
249, $5.
Number 261, $1.20 to the whitewash laundry.
Right.
Number 246, $100 to Howland Hardware.
Howland.
You know you shouldn't be staying up so late.
What was that last check?
$100 to Howland Hardware. Some tools Fritz needed.
Uh-huh. You forgot to enter it. There's your mistake, you cluck.
Oh, no. I couldn't have.
Then find it, my love.
Don't my love me. It must be here. I'll find it.
Perfect, are you?
Well, I... The rest was right.
That doesn't make up for it.
But I could have sworn Oh, well. Checkbooks are a bore anyway.
Didn't your mother ever send you to school? Didn't you ever learn to add or anything? Sometimes I think you're completely helpless.
You do?
A simple thing like balancing a checkbook.
What's the use of my knowing how? I've got a husband who's a past master at it.
Well, I guess you need him for certain details after all.
I need him for lots of details.
Careful, or you'll convince me.
Do I have to?
You little cluck. I love you.
Oh, David, put down that checkbook and hold me tight.
As you trudge the streets supplying the family's wants in grocery, drugstore, and department store, it's an easy matter now to shop refreshed. For more and more stores are installing Coca-Cola coolers. All you have to do is step up, drop in a nickel, and enjoy delicious ice-cold Coca-Cola. That'll remind you to take a carton of Coke home to the family, too.
Mr. King. Oh, Mr. King.
Yes, Mrs. Brown.
What happened with the checkbook? Did it finally get balanced?
Yes, it got balanced, and everything else got back into balance, too.
David and Claudia?
Exactly. She still needs him. He knows it now.
Good. Strange what tricks illness can play.
Yes, you're right, Mrs. Brown, and strange what companions convalescence can make, too.
What do you mean, Miss King?
Well, now, tomorrow a convalescing measles case comes into David's life, and everything is cleared up.
Including the measles?
Including.
Well, then it's safe to be around. See you then, Mr. King.
Looking forward to it, Mrs. Brown. As I was about to say, every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now, this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
October 5th, 1948, Claudia on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Fred McMurray. Home shelters can be built for as little as $100. Simple plans for building inexpensive home shelters are available free from your civil defense office. Ask for a copy of the Family Fallout Shelter booklet.
And try not to fall out listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Hope you will take a moment and thank this radio station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we're here on your favorite radio station. Now, if you miss a day, you do not have to miss a single show. All of our shows are available through our webpage at classicradio.stream. That is classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows, learn more about classic radio collecting, and you can also contact me there. You can find our social media links, and if you're so inclined, you can buy me a copy. So many of you have been so kind to buy us a copy. We are working frantically acquiring additional new classic radio shows, and I want to thank JT, who bought us a copy, and he told us that some of his favorite shows are Fort Laramie, Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, The Shadow, Matt Savetic, I Was a Communist for the FBI, and Dimension X. We'll work on finding some more of those shows just for you, and you can do that at classicradio.stream. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. And would you tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial? Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.